Hello, and welcome back to Eat Well with Allergies. Today we are going to be making oatmeal raisin cookies, and these are egg-free and dairy-free. I hope you like them. So let's get into it. First we're going to cream together the butter and the sugar, and that will create air in the cookie, and really that's basically it for the creaming of the butter and the sugar. Forgot to mention, mix this on low speed. I'm going to scrape down the sides to get that butter incorporated again. And start it again. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to scrape down the sides, again the bottom part where the paddle doesn't reach, basically, for some weird reason. Get this on the other side so I can scrape it down. And mix it one more time really fast, and then I'm going to add in the eggs. So when I say eggs, I mean my egg replacer with water. So it's not technically eggs, it's a mixture of ingredients to imitate the effect of eggs. So this is a powder, and basically I added the vanilla into this so I can use it as one liquid. So I'm gonna add this into the mixer, and there might be a little separation, or what seems like separation. It's gonna go away when you add the flour. You want to get it in all that egg, because if you have a little less, then it might be a little more thick and all that. So, very good for thick egg. Then I'm gonna mix that together again with the butter and sugar. Okay, you're gonna scrape down the edges of the bowl, and you can see that it has a little of the vanilla hue, kind of that brown kind of look. So I'm gonna scrape down my spatula, and then I'm gonna mix it one more time. Okay, so that's the butter, the sugar, and the eggs, and the vanilla in. So next, we're going to add the flour. And we're just gonna add some of this because you wanna add in the buttermilk. It's water and vinegar, basically. It's basically water and a cup of water and a tablespoon of vinegar. And that will just help the reaction of the baking soda to make them rise a little bit. So that's what the buttermilk basically is. So I'm gonna add about a third of this flour just by eye, and then I'm gonna mix it, let it become thick. Then I'm gonna add a third of the water, a third of the flour, etc., until I have no flour or buttermilk left. So here's the first part, and I'm probably gonna be creating a little bit of a mess. Ooh, that one was pretty good. Usually I create a mess with white powders. Okay, scrape down the sides of the bowl where the flour hasn't been incorporated. Kind of mix the thing so I can get to the other side of the bowl. Then I'm gonna put this over here so I can easily access it. Then I'm gonna put in a third of the water. That smells like vinegar. And this will definitely look separated. And you want to mix it on low so the water doesn't really splash up at you, so you don't smell like vinegar. Okay, so put the thing down again, and it's definitely looking separated, but just put in another third of that flour and mix it again, and it'll look right again. Okay, now we're gonna add some water. About a third of what's left. And we're gonna mix again, and this will be the last round of it. Actually, second to last. So you can see right now it kind of looks like cake batter or vanilla cake batter. And that's just because we haven't added the oats yet. So I'm gonna scrape down the side of the bowl. With this small spatula, it's actually easier to do. You can see that the spatula is kind of hitting everything. And then we're gonna add the last bit of flour, and it will become ultra thick because I haven't added the water yet. Okay, we're gonna add the last of the water, which is about a third cup or a fourth cup. Okay, so right now it looks like really thick cake batter. Actually, I think you could actually use this as cake batter. And in the flour actually was the salt and the baking soda. So basically just mix all your dry ingredients together, mix all your wet ingredients together, except maybe, actually, no, that's wrong, just keep your eggs separate. So I'm gonna mix this one more time to make sure that all that flour is incorporated. And you can actually see like little pockets of air everywhere. So that just shows that you have a good aeration in it. So now, to make it not look like a thick cake batter, I'm gonna add oats, and that will absorb all of the liquid in it, and that'll make it like a cookie dough, basically. So we're gonna add the oats, and we're gonna mix it. Then we're gonna add in the raisins. My worst part. Trying to get every last bit of oat into that mixer. And we're gonna want to definitely mix this on slow. Okay, now we're gonna add the raisins, and there's a cup of those. And I actually just like coated these in flour a little bit, and it will make sure that the raisins don't like sink to the bottom of the cookie, I guess. There's not much space in between the two, but now to get the bowl out. So I always have this memory of raisins as a kid in this big container, and it's like all of them are sticking together, so you have this one raisin clump. And I always loved that as a kid. I would just take the raisin clump and eat it. I wouldn't eat them individually. So now we're gonna mix this on well until every bit of raisin is incorporated. Okay. Now we're going to scrape down the paddle, and we're actually gonna let this chill or put in the fridge for 30 minutes, and that will make sure that the gluten in the flour kind of rests and is relaxed, and it'll make sure that butter cools so it'll be easier to handle and all that good stuff, so it doesn't like stick to your fingers like it is gonna be now. Oy. So I'm gonna put this with press and seal, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Okay, so the dough has been refrigerated, it's chilled. The butter's hardened some, so it's easier to handle. The flour's hardened a little bit. The oats have soaked up some of that cake-like liquid. So now I'm going to use just a regular tablespoon, and I'm gonna get up about a tablespoon, and actually I'm going to spray my hands with oil so the dough doesn't stick to it, or to me. So just get a little oil on your hands, rub it around, and then you're gonna get off the oil and you're gonna roll it around in your hands, and you're gonna put it down onto the baking sheet. You can use any kind of baking sheet. I'm using the longest one I have, with basically a silicone pad to make sure that it doesn't stick at all. You can use parchment paper. You can just spray a little oil into the actual pan. This just saves me a little bit of cleanup. So I'm gonna keep doing this until I have about 12 cookies actually. I might need some more oil on my hands. And how am I doing that? So we have 2 cookies to go. And then we'll put them in the oven for about 15 minutes. And hopefully they'll be nice golden brown. Okay, so they're about 40 seconds on the clock, and the cookies so far have looked pretty good. And they took about 15 minutes. If you're making bigger cookies, then you're gonna wanna leave them in a couple more minutes longer. Smaller cookies, you're gonna wanna leave them a little shorter. Just depends on how big your cookies are, really. So 20 seconds is enough to take them out, actually. So I'm just gonna put them on the oven, and man, do those look good. So I'm gonna stop this timer and quickly see without burning my fingers if they're golden, and those are pretty good. So now I'm gonna let them cool in the pan for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna put them on a plate and get the rest of them done.